Art Friends, it's Doris at DF Designs. I kind of changed the one angle a little bit so you can, if my hand is over what I'm doing, maybe you can see it from the side over here. I'm hoping. I mean, I don't have a lot of room and everything. Okay, I'm going to heat emboss some coasters today. First, I'm just going to do a couple with some stamps. I'm trying to figure out where to put everything at. What I have here is my own little homemade tile stamper. I know I still need to go through and to show everybody a little video on how to make it. It's not that hard. I mean, you basically just cut little square dowels to make a tray around here. You make 2 of them a little lower than the rest of it, because you're going to glue right here, you're going to glue your hinge. Then you're going to cut a piece of plexiglass the same size as this, and you're going to glue your hinge onto the other side. That's the trickiest part, really. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp some tiles and heat emboss them, but I also got a couple of other methods I want to try. What I wanted to do first was I had these 2. They're not, I didn't have a set of 4. All I had was a set of 2. So what I'm going to do is I want to use this little mermaid. I cannot remember where I got the stamp set from, so I'm sorry that I can't tell you. And first thing I want to do is I want to peel off the mermaid. And this right here, if any sticky stuff is on there, I'm going to use it for my with alcohol. Okay, I've got an anti-static bag. I used to have one that I just kind of made in a pantyhose, where I just put some, it was very funny, I just put some powder in the bottom of it, and basically in the toe of a pantyhose, and then doubled it up, and that was what I used. Now you just want to put this all over. Okay, there we go. You want to make sure it is in the corner right here. You got to make sure it's matched up. Then you're going to put the raised part right here down wherever you want her to go, and I'm going to put her right there. Then you're going to push this down so the plastic picks her up. Now I got to move this because I got to bring it forward a little bit to show you. Okay, so she's stuck where I want her at. You take your Versamark pad, and you basically want to pounce on your stamp the ink. And the reason the powder is put down first is so you don't get any of the embossing powder sticking where you don't want it at. Okay, you pounce her. I always cover it back up. I don't know if it's going to dry out or not. I doubt it though. Okay, now I'm going to push her down and transfer all the Versamark ink to the tile. And you're not going to be able to see this probably, but if you look at it at an angle, you can usually see if you've got ink everywhere you want it. Okay, I'm going to do the other tile real quick so then I can move this out of the way. Don't take your tile off. I mean, don't take your cling stamp off yet, because you don't know if you're going to have to do more of it on there. And basically, if it's still stuck there and you put your coaster over here in the corner, like this, sorry, then you know that you're always going to stamp in the same spot every time. Okay, now I'm going to do her again. Okay. Cover it up so it don't dry. And then I'm going to stamp her on this one. When you lift it up, if it doesn't look like the whole image was stamped good with the Versamark, I mean, you can see if there's little blank spots. And she looks good too, but I'm still not going to take it off yet, just in case I have to do a whole other thing of Versamark. I'm just putting it off to the side. Okay, basically, which color was I going to use? Oh, that's right, this blue. I was going to use a blue on her. Now, I've got this piece of paper down. I've made a crease in it already. Basically, what I'm going to do is I'm going to very carefully sprinkle some of this on. It's going to stick to the Versamark. Now, I always have a little paintbrush handy, just in case I find some of the heat embossing powder in a place I don't want it at. You don't want to tap too hard. You might tap off what's stuck to the Versamark. And I just do that. I go around it. I look for any little bits of embossing powder that are in places I don't want them at. Very carefully, because it's stuck down to the Versamark, but it's not heat set yet. So if you get really close to it, you got to be careful. You can usually hold it at an angle. Okay, she's done. Now, I don't need to I have enough in the container, so I'll just leave that down there until I do this one. And you just want to sprinkle, sprinkle, cover the whole thing. And you want to let it go off. Tap it lightly to get the excess off. I see a couple little lines right there, but I'm not going to worry about them. And it looks like this one didn't have a whole lot stuck in places that it shouldn't. Now, before you go heat embossing, or putting the heat on the embossing powder, you want to put your excess powder off of the paper into the container. And the reason I had folded it in half first is because it's too hard to try to get a little valley once you have the powder on there. And yeah, I got a little bit of it off to the side, but you know what? Oh, there we go. I'm going to look sparkly tonight. That's okay. Okay, now I'm going to heat emboss these little girls. Okay, I'm using the Doris, there we go, the Doris heat tool. I've had this for quite a few years, so I don't know if they sell this particular one anymore that looks like this, but I'm sure they got one. Okay. Now, I always turn it on for like maybe 5-10 seconds just to get it to warm up. You can feel it on your arm. Don't leave it on your arm too long. Okay, now I always go at an angle, and you can usually see it melt when you run your heat over it. And you got to remember, you just put heat on this tile, so it's a little hot, so grab it only by the farthest corners. See, that doesn't look like it's melted right there. See, that's why it's good to look at it from an angle to let the light hit it so you can see where it may not be heat embossed or it may not have melted yet. She looks done, so let's do her sister. I usually start at the edge of the design and slowly go over it. I try to keep it at an angle so I am able to see the powder as it's melting. That's what heat embossing powder does. It melts right in place where the Versamark left it at. Okay, I'm going to pick her up. Yep. See, I still see a couple of spots. And believe me, when you look at it from an angle, you can see where it hasn't melted yet and where it has melted. Sorry about that. Didn't mean to take it off the camera. Now, I'm going to let this sit, and she's going to, I can't remember if I have to spray it or not, so I'm not going to say. I don't think I have to spray her. I'm going to let her sit, and then I'm going to resin her tomorrow, and I absolutely love this. Yeah, there's a lot of detail in her hair, but it looks cute. Let me see. Yeah, I'm trying to show you her face. Okay, let me move these two off to the side so I don't get anything on them. Running out of room to put my stuff at. But anybody who lives in a small apartment knows the feeling. The struggle is real. Okay. I've got a couple more coasters, and I'm only going to do one out of each set. And the reason I say that is because I don't want to, there's my stamp cleaner. I don't want to, bore you with the whole thing. I've got two types of coasters that I don't know how they're going to withstand under the heat. One is these acrylic round coasters that I made. Now they are pretty thick, so I'm figuring they're going to withstand it. Then I got my pressed cardboard ones. These are the same thing that you get in the bar. Okay, no need to tape them off for the simple fact the tape sticks to the paper. Now these are a little bit thinner, but they don't warp with the resin. So I'm going to try one design on one of those and one design on one of those just to see how it works. Let me just real quickly clean off my little mermaid front. So that way I know that she's clean when I put her back into the case, because that's where you want to keep them at, is you want to keep them right on that right on that plastic that you pulled them off of. Okay, there we go. And because most of the stamps, oops, no wonder I'm putting her on the back side. Ha! No wonder it wasn't matching up right. Most of the stamps already come with the image printed on them, so it's not that hard to put it back where it came from by matching it up, okay? Excuse me. Now I'm just going to go over this real quick with what's left on my paper towel. Okay, now let me see. I've got 2 new stamps, and I want to do a set of coasters with one and a set of coasters with the other as soon as I find them in this stack of stamps over here. Aha, I knew what label they had on them. So first, because one of them is a surprise, I'm going to take her the stamp when I go see her sometime in December. But, come on. Let go of the bag. Let go of, there we go. But first, I'm going to do my logo. I had some special made stamps. Okay. I'm just going to put my logo right in the middle. What you want to do when you're trying to do that, you just want to all you can do is eyeball it, okay? Stay. There we go. Sorry that it was off camera. And new stamps sometimes will stick to the resin piece that you're trying to stamp on, or alcohol ink piece. Okay, first thing, powder. That's to keep all the little extra bits from not sticking to your piece. Versamark, as soon as I figure out where I put it at. Just pounce on there a few times to get it covered. Now, put it over the tile, or in this case, the coaster, which is, it's a coaster, but it's not a tile. It's more of a round piece of pressed cardboard. And I didn't get that done right, so hang on a second. I know that there's something I can do. I'm looking for a piece of it to put underneath. I'm looking for something to give it a little bit of leverage. Now I don't want to move the coaster. I am just putting another set of stamps. These are very, very thin coasters. I don't know if that's going to match up now that I've moved it, but I'm standing up to get a little bit more leverage with my hand. Okay, the F might be a little off because that was all I got before. Okay, let me put this over here. Okay, let me put my paper down. I wanted to do black sparkle on this. Now, okay, I'm just basically gonna pick this up. See, and this is where you don't need the paper at, because it goes right back in the box. Okay, and my paintbrush, because I got some excess right there. I don't know why I do. I don't know why I got so much of it right there. But you just brush it away. Because once you heat emboss, that stuff is, you can't wipe that stuff off anymore. It is stuck there for good. And when you get close to the design, you want to be very, very careful that you don't brush into the design, because you'll brush that powder off too. Okay, let me put this guy over here. And now let me see how it heat embosses on these pressed cardboard. It's got resin on it, but I just want to see how they hold up with heat embossing. Now this changes a little bit as the black sparkle does as you're heat embossing, so you can usually see if there's any spots that you didn't get yet. And didn't warp. And there is my design. Okay, I will do the rest of those later. I won't do them now because that would be too boring. But I am going to put a round coaster on the other side. Now I'm just going to leave that there just for a little bit of added stuff. Okay. And for this one, I was thinking of using a copper. There we go. I'm going to use a copper, which means I'm going to need my paper. Okay, first I'm going to do my anti-static powder all over it. Let me pick it up because it's sliding around in the tray. And this is the other stamp I'm doing. This is for some friends of mine that live in Texas. They have a logo. I love their logo, so oh, this is going to be a tight fit. Didn't think of that. So I thought I'd make them a set of coasters with their logo, and I had to order a stamp. Okay. You want to push it down, make sure you got the stamp stuck to that, to the lid, and then you want to do your Versamark. And you just basically pounce over it to make sure you get it covered. Now let's see if it transfers. And it looks like everything did. So now let me bring this out. Move this out of the way. I'm gonna leave those in there just like they are. Okay, now I'm gonna do some of this darker copper on top of it. It says copper. It doesn't look that sparkly, but we will find out together, won't we? You want to sprinkle it all over where you know the Versamark's at, and a little bit, you know, around the edge of it too. And then basically pick it up, let that slide off. Aha! Okay, I can see that. Is that line hole? Well, there's a little space right there. I just didn't get enough right there. But I think, now I've never tried this before either. I have some of these little Versamark pens, okay? What I'm going to do is I'm very carefully going to fill in that space right there with some Versamark. Very carefully. I think the pen's working. Yep, I see liquid. Very carefully just to fill in that spot right there where I didn't get it with the stamp pad. Everything else looks good. So let's see if that worked. And it worked enough, it looks like, to give it something right there. So okay, these are just tests and everything, so I'm not going to be too concerned about it. I just wanted to see how the ATD stamp I bought for them worked. Okay, paper out of the way. This covered. Now comes the test. Does the heat affect the acrylic? Or we will find out together. So here I go. There we go. Now it's coming out bright. Oh, that is so pretty. The line looks a little wonky up there, but hey, you know what? It is what it is. I tried to do the best I could. So, and this doesn't feel like it warped any. It's a little hot on the back, but here we go. You can see my little mistake right there. When I do the rest of them, I will try to do a little bit better, and then I will be resining them in a couple of days. Now comes the part that I saw somebody doing this the other day, and I thought, oh, this opens me up to a whole bunch of ideas for designs. Let me put the lid back on this real quick, and you're gonna love this. And I think I'm gonna do the butterfly first. A stencil. Can you believe it? Okay, what I saw this person do on YouTube. Let's see. I'm trying to figure out which butterfly is going to look the best. Okay, let me just do this guy right here. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to tape it down and tape any extra holes around it that I don't want covered with the Versamark, or don't want the Versamark to go in. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to tape right here. Wait a minute. I want to get him perfect. Because you don't want this to shift when you're putting the Versamark on there. So now I'm going to do a piece of it right here to hold this, but then I'm also going to cover that little hanger hole right there. Now, I saw somebody doing this on paper, but I'm not a card maker. I make cards by pulling money out of my pocket and buying them at the counter. That's about the extent of me making cards. I used to make cards, but I don't anymore. Okay, see, it fills in the holes. Now I got to cover this right here so I don't accidentally get any Versamark in there. You don't have to necessarily use painter's tape. You just need a tape that's going to stick and hold it down. Okay, now what I want to do is I'd also want to kind of hold it right here so I know nothing shifts while I put this on. And also to keep it as flat as possible so I do get the detailing you see in there. You just want to pounce on top of it. Okay, now and I'm missing one little tail, but that's okay. That's okay. Okay, paper to catch my glitter or embossing powder, excuse me. Aha, got it open. Up. That might have been part of the problem. I think there was some powder inside the threads. Okay, let me sprinkle this real quick. Don't want to keep you much longer. I'm only going to do the one butterfly just to see if it actually worked. And I got a butterfly. I didn't get one of the little tails as much as the other ones, but that's okay. It's just a practice piece. It'll probably end up being a gift for my family because they'll love it no matter what it looks like. Even with mom or grandma's little imperfections in it, depending on who I give it to. Probably my kids, because I don't think well, I have a grandson that's old enough to drink coffee, but the other ones are not. Okay, clean up the powder. Okay, let's heat emboss this little baby real quick. And before you quit heat embossing, you want to kind of hold it up to the light and make sure you got everything. Part of the powder looks a little different than than the rest of it. That means it's probably not heat embossed all the way yet. Over here. And I don't know if I can get rid of that. No, I can't. I don't think I can do it with my, well, maybe I can with my fingernail. This is why it's very important you check it. Okay, I'm going to finish all these later and get all the designs on them so I can resin them. So, I hope you enjoyed watching this. Sorry if it might have been too long because I had a couple of little snafus with things not coming loose and things not coming open. Oh, such is life of recording. Got to make sure everything's open. So, subscribe if you haven't yet. Click the little bell for the notifications. Leave me a thumbs up if you liked it. Leave me a comment below if you have any questions. I love the fluid arts right out of you. Even when we do heat embossing over the fluid arts, I still love you guys. Y'all are awesome. So all I can say for now is bye for now.